Barnet players, you've probably seen already proudly wearing the Toshiba brand on their shirts, but what we're announcing today goes far beyond the normal realms of a mere sponsorship deal. The issue of the welfare of elite athletes is very much the fore at the moment. There does seem to be examples almost daily, which leads you to think that today's subject matter is important right now, but obviously it's one for the future as well. The order of events this morning will be that the gentleman on the top table will talk individually about the partnership and what it means, given their particular area of expertise and knowledge. From your right, we have Mr. Paul Fairclough, Director of Football here and the England C team manager. Next to him is Mr. Tony Kleanthos, Chairman of Barnet FC and the Hive. Next to him is Mr. Mark Holmshaw, Vice President, Toshiba Medical Systems Europe. Next to him is Mr. Mark Hitchman, Managing Director, Toshiba Medical Systems UK. And at the far end, Mr. Manolis Gabalis, who's Head of Medical Services here. After the speakers have spoken, there's of course time allocated to questions from the floor, which we followed with some photographs outside. During the Q&A session, I'd ask you please to kindly identify yourself. If any other media questions, do ask me later on. But before we talk about the exact details of the partnership, I think it's appropriate we set the scene with a little bit of history about the facility, the stadium we see here today, and its transformation from an overgrown and perhaps uncared for grassy field. And there are a few people better placed, I think, than Paul Fairclough to give what I believe is now called the backstory. Paul?
Yes, thank you, David. I really do have to pinch myself when I think of what's gone on here since, well, during just the last 3 or 4 years. I can remember wearing a hard hat, hard-nailed boots, a fluorescent jacket, in the snow, up to my ankles in mud, alongside this gentleman as well, when this site was derelict and barren. And to think of this landmark occasion today, this fantastic partnership between Toshiba Medical Systems and Barnet FC, that we've come this far in such a short space of time. Because I can remember when I was manager here that I used to, at times, I had all the kit and the training gear in the back of my car, and we literally had to travel at times to find a piece of grass to train on. Such was the difficulty. But now, you know, when you think that we've got a place that 5 times world champions Brazil elect to use as their headquarters when they play a game in England, is quite incredible. And the fact that Chile, Germany, they do the same, they choose. This facility has now got what Arsene Wenger has, Jose Mourinho. They have the same type of facilities that we have here. But, you know, Barnet do things in their own way. It's called the Barnet way because we don't just focus on the elite side of everything here. We reach out to a much broader spectrum. So what we offer here is for everybody. And as I say, to come so far in such a short space of time under the guidance and vision of Tony Kleanthos has been quite, let me say, it's been quite a journey. I've seen many an architect, engineer, bricklayer, joiner come with a fine flock of hair, and when they've left the site they've got the same colour hair as myself, such as Tony's insistence on being a perfectionist and getting everything right. And as I said, to come this far to such an occasion today is just absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Paul. Chairman?
Well, so we opened the Hive some 3 years ago now, and I remember in my opening speech I talked about how we had some of the best sports facilities in the world right here in England. Unfortunately, most were hidden away from the public, locked behind big iron gates. At the time, I spoke about how we were going to create an international class training facility, and here we are today, open to the community. Yet outside we have Chile training here today, and that's ahead of their match versus England on Friday night. On Sunday we have Germany will be training here, and we've already hosted Brazil, as Paul mentioned, and Portugal, and many, many others, teams from all around the world who come to use this facility. Today we want to announce another first. The Hive Medical Centre and Toshiba Imaging Academy will once again demonstrate how we're able to push the boundaries and create first-class facilities to be shared and used by both the elite and the community. We're also very proud that Toshiba Medical Systems has seen it appropriate to join us in this unique partnership, and they would invest what will amount to over a 7-figure sum in what is the largest sponsorship deal in the entire history of the football conference, or any of its clubs, as a matter of fact. The incredible thing for us was that as a worldwide company, Toshiba were able to see through the size of the club and its league status, and were able to focus on the unique quality of our facilities and our ethos of trying to deliver excellence to our growing customer base. As a former director of both the FA and the Football League, and a director now of the conference, I've increasingly become aware of the lack of quality medical facilities available to those in the English game. We seem to have some of the best consultants in the world and the best imaging equipment, but we don't seem to bring them together in the same place in the context of sport. This has led to British sportsmen and women seeking medical treatment abroad, and the partnership we're announcing today will address this situation. Toshiba are partnering with us to provide one of the highest quality CT scanners, MRI machine, digital X-ray and ultrasound, and all will be located in the new Hive Medical Centre right here. We're also launching an academy to train our future radiologists. The intention is not only to bring together the best consultants in sports therapy to the site for the treatment of our athletes, but also those specialising in cardio and head trauma fields to conduct research and studies to assist with our learning and understanding of how sports affects the growth and development of our children and the impact to them and adults in sport. The recent cases with Fabrice Mwamba and now all the issues surrounding concussion and head trauma are particularly relevant at this time. No other club has the facilities that will be available here at the Hive, and they are open to all. It has taken me over 2 years to put this project together, and I would really like to thank Toshiba for putting their faith in me, Barnet FC and the Hive.
Yeah, I sit here somewhat in awe of the two gentlemen on my left and what they've actually achieved in quite a short time here. I have to say, for me, it's absolutely great to be here. You know, I'm delighted to represent not only the UK but the European element of this partnership, and long may it continue. Toshiba Medical Systems is a leading worldwide provider of diagnostic medical imaging equipment and comprehensive medical solutions, and as Tony said, CT, MR, X-ray and ultrasound, plus some other imaging solutions that we do. We use the words leading innovation, and I think innovation is used quite frequently from time to time, but for me it's particularly apt for this partnership because it involves the innovative technology that Toshiba bring, but also the very innovative thinking of Paul, Tony and the whole association with Barnet, which will hopefully come together to form a new type of partnership, never before seen. So with this in mind, for me, I want to keep it very short and sweet, but I would like to say a very big thank you for inviting me and Toshiba here today. And I certainly look forward to keeping a European, not only a UK, interest on this new frontier in combining entrepreneurship, technology and healthcare, And who knows where this will lead in the future. But one thing I can guarantee is that Toshiba will provide its 100% support.
Thank you, Mark. Well, on my behalf, I would like to say that I'm really delighted to be here as a sponsor and partner of Barnet FC and the Hive. For some time now, we've been looking for somewhere to house a medical imaging academy. As a company, we do provide quite a bit of clinical training. I mean, the machines we provide are very advanced: CT scanners, ultrasound, MRI, complex X-ray machines. But we've not had a central point to do that, nor have we had an address where we can actually house medical equipment and provide practical training. Here, we will be able to provide fully integrated training. We'll be able to do theory in the classrooms upstairs, or run large seminars for several hundred people in the very large facilities upstairs. But equally, we're about to integrate that with the real machines in the imaging facility. And they'll include a top-of-the-range 1.5 Tesla MRI scanner, the XL Art Helios, 160 slice CT scanner, Quilliam Prime, Apleo 500, top-of-the-range ultrasound scanner, and a DR general X-ray system. And these are machines that are not only state-of-the-art, but just starting to come out and go into very leading hospitals in the UK. There's a shortage of these facilities, and there is also a shortage of very good training. These machines are very complex and require a lot of intense training. Here, we'll be able to provide something that's cutting edge. Training for clinicians and providing elite sports expertise, a centre of sports medicine expertise, and a medical facility that's open to the wider community. So it's actually ticking an awful lot of boxes. And for us at Toshiba, we talk about, we don't want to do anything if it's not inspiring. We have to inspire each other. We often talk about that. And we want to inspire our customers and our clients and the wider community. And what we found here at Barnet was that it was truly inspiring. The facilities are clearly fantastic. As Tony said, some of the best clubs in the world are training here and using the facilities. It's at a perfect location, end of the Jubilee line and northwest London. And then there's Tony himself and his team and the irrepressible enthusiasm and commitment and drive, and clearly his well-established contacts. So for us, for me, it was an automatic, a pretty quick decision and easy to make, that we do house an imaging facility here and a training facility, the UK's first imaging academy in this context. And it just suffices for me to say that we're truly excited by this. This is really inspiring for us as an organisation, and we'd like to thank Barnet and the Hive and Tony and his team for inviting us to be a partner, a sponsor, and we look forward to taking this not just a long way at this facility, but who knows what the future might hold on a wider scope. Thank you.
Thank you. If you don't mind if I stand up. I'm never talked to anybody sitting down in medicine. I'm Dr. Manolis Kavalas. I work at the University College Hospital. I'm a senior consultant in emergency medicine, and I think I'm pretty good. But I would like to tell you that without diagnostics and imaging, without diagnostics and imaging, you cannot keep up with the demands of modern medicine. It's as simple as that. So here at the Hive, the vision of creating a medical center of excellence, I think, is becoming a reality. And I make no apologies in saying that, yes, we are very ambitious, yes, we aim very high, but it's not just about serving the elite athlete, but also the community, the local population, whoever wants to use our services. In my training days, I remember a very important mentor of mine said to me, get the best specialists, the most reputable specialists, give them bad imaging and the outcome will be terrible. Get the same specialists and give them good imaging and the outcome will be fantastic. So I'm truly delighted, because we do use some of your equipment at University College Hospital, to have this partnership which will enable us to send all these fantastic images to whoever we want, to our specialists, so that we can get the correct diagnosis that will lead to the correct management and fast-track the recovery and rehabilitation. And I think it's a vision to go one step further, Tony, is to do research. Gone are the days when we treat patients on old-fashioned habits and dogma. We need to use scientific evidence, and we need to improve performance of the elite athlete, and and we can prevent injuries and can improve the recovery period. And I think in summary, if I may so, I think truly that we are bringing here top quality equipment and top quality specialists in a fantastic environment, and I think we're going to raise the standards of treatment. Thank you. I will, anything medical, please my direction. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Dev, could you identify yourself?
Yeah, Dev Traher, Trinity Mirror. This is a question for Mark Hitchman. Mark, first of all, how long is the length of the partnership that you've agreed with Barnet Football Club?
It's 5 years nominally, but we may extend, depends on how it goes. So it's kind of contractually 5 years, but who knows what the future holds. It's got options to go further.
And the 5 years, is that for the shirt sponsorship as well as the partnership?
Sponsorship is rolling. Medical centre and academy, 5 years. Sponsorship is rolling, reviewed annually.
Thanks.
Hi, Sam Peters from the Mail on Sunday. Mandis, could I ask you just in terms of the equipment that's available to you at the moment? You saw with the Loris case that clearly the MRI scans aren't able to pick up concussion at the moment. Is there equipment out there, or is any of this Toshiba equipment going to be able to actually identify concussion as opposed to structural damage to the skull and bleeds on the brain?
Do I have 2 minutes?
As many minutes as you like.
I have got very strong feelings about concussion. If you open a textbook of neurosurgery, you won't find the term concussion anywhere. So what do we mean by concussion? We actually mean minor traumatic brain injury. Okay, so I'm telling you, if you are, whoever you are, and watching Loris getting injured, how do you know the severity of the injury? You can't. You're using primitive ways of trying to establish serious abnormality. And anybody can tell you that. The whole concept of taking the player off with head injury is depending on the mechanism of injury. If the mechanism is significant, then there is a significant chance of having a significant traumatic brain injury. Therefore, you take them off in anticipation of using the worst scenario possible so they won't make a minor bruising of the brain into a hemorrhage. Now, when according to concussion, what is concussion? We're talking about symptoms and signs that occur subsequently to a traumatic brain injury where the athlete or the patient, whoever the patient is not able to function properly. Coordination, balance, cognitive function, the ability to use mental agility, they are all going down. And there are organizations that can give you scientific evidence to see that this exists. When it comes to imaging, NICE, National Institute of Clinical Excellence, dictates that the imaging modality of head injuries is a CT scan only because MRIs are not widely available. The MRI is much more sensitive in picking up abnormalities. In my experience, and I deal with head injuries on a daily basis, and we're talking about significant head injuries, CT will tell you does the patient need neurosurgery or not, or neuroimaging. The MRI will tell you more subtle findings. The rest is a period where you assess the complication from a head injury and putting a severity on this so-called post-concussive syndrome. Therefore, in summary, you must take the player off depending on the mechanism of injury, and then get the imaging, and then get the specialists to do more scientific interpretation of what the signs are. And I bet you Loris now is having all these things as we talk.
Paul, could I ask you perhaps, do you feel, I mean, I've worked a lot around rugby on this subject, but do you feel that football's actually got quite a long way to catch up here as well?
It's got a long way to catch up in a lot of things, hasn't it, football? I mean, and not just football. I mean, you take the case of horse racing. I mean, these guys are falling off horses and getting trampled on a regular basis. And we just sort of pay scant regard. What is it? The physio comes on and he does that. Follow my finger. Oh, you're all right, son, get back on. It's criminal. I mean,
it's primitive, absolutely primitive.
There will be further, fatalities if we carry on the way we are.
Mark, do you think that football and other sports should follow the lead set by the NFL in terms of concussions?
Well, we try not to have an opinion about how sport should run itself. I mean, we're very specialised, aren't we? We focus on hospitals and guiding clinicians and providing the equipment, listening to them, developing equipment that is more optimised according to what the clinicians are saying to us. If it just did this and this, it would be even better. So we try not to have opinion about how the machine should be used, as long as they're used safely and responsibly. What we do know is that, as we've mentioned, I think that sport generally, falling off, I like motorcycle racing and people falling off motorbikes. In fact, every sport virtually has some kind of risk. And having harmless medical facilities, non-interventional, where you just lie still on a machine for 4 minutes and you get all the answers, has got to be the way to go in the future, just for the safety of the people.
We have had the Brian Barwick and Ralph Rimmer from the RFL have been here. They've seen what we're doing. They've had the tour, which you're all welcome to have at the end of this conference. So they know what we're up to, and the RFL have taken a lot of interest in what's going on here. And I think they are seriously thinking about how they're going to address the situation in the future. In light of what's happened with the NFL, I mean, it's a very big case and a very big settlement, and I think it's focused a few minds, hasn't it? Money always does.
Can I just add one other piece to that? I think, you know, your question about the NFL, for example, I think sport in general, you don't have to define the sport, but sport in general is a long way behind in terms of its medical care. For the amount of money that goes into sport, I think the percentage of it which is invested in healthcare is almost minute by comparison. You know, when you take some of these elite athletes, and I think sport in general has a long way to catch up, irrespective of which part of sport it is. And I think, you know, this can be seen as maybe the first step towards the inclusion of sport in medicine.
And this is not Toshiba's first partnership with a sports club or a football club, is it?
No.
Can you give us some details?
We have something with outside of the UK. We're just setting up something with a cycling organisation, for example. So, you know, there are some other examples as well. But
Mr. Humshaw, while I've got you, what attracted you to Barnet Football Club? I mean, obviously, I think you represent Toshiba Medical Systems, the European side of operations.
Correct.
And I think Mr. Hitchman represents the Managing Director for the UK.
Correct.
The fact that obviously Tony's got a great Cypriot heritage, we've got a number of Dutch coaches here, a number of Dutch players here, we've got a former Champions League winner here, some Spanish players as well. Did any of that sort of come into your thinking? Is that one of the things that attracted you to Barnet Football Club?
well, I live in Holland,
Yeah.
so
Oh, wow.
there's an obvious connection, shall we say. But actually, I mean, Mark and I have worked together for almost 25 years now.
We're younger than we look.
Yeah, actually, I'm a little older, but not by much. But I think because we've had such a close relationship over the years, and actually our careers have pretty much progressed within Toshiba, Mark initially came with the idea, having met Tony, and you know, in the words of I'm quite sure a few people, for me it was a no-brainer. You know, the enthusiasm, the entrepreneurship, it sort of marries everything that we look for in a partnership.
Josh, you have a question?
I've also got a question for Mr. Davids. I wanted to know whether...
Ask him, Edgar, do you want to come forward? Sorry. We pulled Edgar off the training ground. He's always playing football, yeah. We're just saying Edgar's always playing football.
Good afternoon.
So, Edgar, what I wanted to know was, with this system now, great partnership being introduced, was this an issue that affected you throughout your illustrious career, with the lack of medical facilities, and do you think that this goes a long way to helping it?
I think I was fortunate to play with a lot of clubs that had a very good medical department, and if not, they were always working together closely with medical facilities.
Now, in regards to, you know, you've played for some of the biggest clubs in the world, how does with this system Barnet stack up to them?
I think this is something that is you have to think about it, not small. It's incredible that a football club, has this on the training ground. I mean, even Milan with the Milan lab doesn't have this facility. So I think this is the future for a lot of clubs now, because a lot of things can be done in-house, and also I think the community can also benefit from this, and also other local clubs, because let's face it, Barnet is not the only club here around here that also have maybe medical problems, and I think it's a plus for football and for the community to have such thing on your training ground.
Yeah, because I know with the club this season they've had a few niggling injuries. Do you think that it will be great, you know, you'll have players fitter, quicker, etc. Do you think that's a big plus for you in the team? Or?
No, I don't know if you have the players fitter, that is something else, but I think the results will be there immediately, and I think it's also very important what you guys also, or what he addresses before. If something happens on the pitch, you know, you can already, you know, have the facility or the option to examine it immediately, instead of, you know, have to go to a hospital and etc. etc. And I think that is a plus, and I think that's also a great service and good business card for the club.
And finally, with the infrastructure in place at the club, where do you see Barnet going in the upcoming years?
I think with a facility like this, and also with a sponsor like this, I think Barnet is laying the bricks for the fundament to become an important club.
And just a quick question for Mr. Douthers. With this great partnership being introduced, will any of the money garnered from it, generated from it, being reinvested back into the playing squad?
Oh, already is. I mean, when we loaned Lopez at the same time as Toshiba appeared on our shirts. I wonder how that happened. So, I mean, listen, for us, I waited a while. I had this idea a while ago, and I didn't put anyone on my shirts, because I just felt something big was going to happen. I didn't think it would be as big as having somebody like Toshiba to back this club and this site and what we're doing. And, you know, when you think of them as a brand, they have all the values that you want. So I'm just so proud to have them here. And, you know, it gives us an opportunity to give us a bit of money we can invest into the team. It gives us these first-class medical facilities. And remember, those facilities are open to everybody. So, you know, as well as the research and everything else, it's income generation for the site. So it's all good, positive stuff. You know, I was just joking earlier because Chile have a player who was injured. And they said to us yesterday, we need to get this chap MRI scanned quick. And we arranged it with the local hospital, and we're thinking, if only that machine was there now, it would have been great to go, just pop in there. So, you know, it's just, it's all really good, positive stuff. And I think, I mean, Edgar sums it up well. He's been everywhere around the world. He's played for all the best clubs. We all have links, all the clubs have links, but there's that delay. There's that period of trying to get a booking, trying to get something arranged. You know, really, you need instant treatment, instant diagnosis. And this helps provide that on this site. But more importantly, it's the quality of the images of the machine. Someone asked me, you know, I was trying to get my head round it, because I'm not medical, and I was trying to get my head round the difference, and I saw some images that I thought were incredible images from these machines. And I was thinking, well, what's the difference? And someone said to me, well, look at your phone today and look at your phone 5 years ago, and just think of the difference of the image quality on your phone. Think about the one you used a few years ago. And then, you know, and it helps you understand just how far the technology's gone. And when we did our research, we looked at many different companies for this kind of equipment. And all the consultants we were speaking to were all saying, you want to see the new Toshiba stuff. It's really good. So for us to get what we discovered was the best out there, and to get them to say, yeah, we'll partner with you, was fantastic, and it's just, I'm just so proud.
So with the Lopez deal, the irony of it was he needed an MRI after 5 minutes.
three games and he was injured.
Ian from BBC London. I don't know who's best to answer the question, but you say that facilities, Tony, aren't here yet. When are you hoping that this facility will be up and running and you'll have it?
So the target is 1st of April we open?
Yeah, absolutely. Or sooner if we can get there.
Yeah, we've got to get a fast boat from Japan. We're working on it.
Maybe could I ask you, is this sort of understanding of the medical science improves and the understanding of the kind of long-term potential impacts of things like concussion or can have, how much responsibility do the managers hold in terms of taking the decision to remove a player from the pitch out of the player's hands and just leaving it with the medical staff?
I think that I always say if you're a manager, foremost, a player is human first, and then he's a player. So I think that from that decision you always have to look at the medical department, and they have to say how severe it is. And there on, because football is a sport, but first thing and foremost is that you're human, and for us that's the most, you're a person, and that's the most important thing instead of a football player. So I think you have to leave it to the specialist.
How hard is that in the sort of heat of the battle, so to speak, when clearly the medical people aren't used to necessarily operating in that environment? Perhaps that's a question for you, Magnus, I guess. But
well, it's more difficult to apply this at the academy level when the 12-year-old, 13-year-old wants to play and try to convince the 13-year-old that actually it's not safe. I think it's easier at your level. But as I said before, we need to look at the mechanism, how the injury happens, and not say, best scenario, nothing is wrong with the player, let's play him. You need to say, what's the worst scenario here? The worst scenario is significant brain injury, and take the player off. That's my belief and my dogma.
With the equipment that you're going to have here now, right by the pitch, is the equipment going to be so sophisticated that you could literally take the player from the pitch into the scanning room and actually be able to diagnose them?
Well, let's clarify. Anybody who is seriously unwell needs to go elsewhere.
Course, yeah.
For those who need imaging, the equipment, as I understand it, will be top class and will give you the answer, will give you the precise diagnosis. 10, 15 years ago, people said, what is bone bruising? We didn't know what bone bruising is. Now we know, we can see bone bruising with this beautiful imaging. So, yes, the answer is, it's going to be here.
We'll just give you an illustration of this kind of equipment. I mean, the detail that we see inside the human body is like the patient goes through the machine in seconds, a couple of minutes. We can fly through the human body in virtual reality, like you're on an Xbox, flying through their body, looking inside at anything you need to look at, the brain, the heart, you name it. So we can get down to that kind of detail in no time at all. So this is space age stuff. I think you'd be shocked if we had one here today to show you.
Should have brought the hologram for
Yeah.
Mark, you mentioned, I think, the Telstar and some of these ultrasound machines and these MRI scanners. How much do these pieces of equipment cost?
Glad you're sitting down.
The range is quite significant.
Yeah.
You can go from 6 figures to
7 figures quite quickly.
Well, on ultrasound from 5 figures to 6 figures.
Yeah.
But it depends on what options you have, what level of machine.
The equipment we got here is approaching, it's coming up to a couple of £1 million. Wow. Actually, probably more by the time you install it. And because you've got to have, you don't want to stand next to one with your watch, your nice new Rolex thing.
Or your credit cards.
Your credit cards.
Just bring your wife's credit cards.
So the rooms are shielded, etc. So there's a lot of cost. It's a huge amount of money going. I mean, this project, we spent £26 million on this site. By the time we kit out, finish the medical centre and kit out the medical centre, spending at the Hive will be up to nearly £30 million. So it's a lot of investment that's gone into this site. And this centre with machines, equipment, fit out, build costs, etc. will be about nearly £4 million.
Sounds like your insurance premiums can go up.
It keeps going up. It's always going up.
I'm Bruce Dane from the Harrow Times newspaper. You talk about how the facility is going to be used by the local community. Can you give any more details about that? How is it you're going to team up with hospitals as well?
Oh, absolutely. We've already had talks with the chairman of the local NHS procurement. There is a problem in this area, actually. There is a shortage of imaging equipment in the area. So we will link up and we'll provide imaging for all. And it will be, I suppose the best way I can put it is like a small hospital, if you like. The imaging centre, which is what we'll be calling that part of the building, will be an open service.
Does the fact that you're creating this imaging centre and this medical centre of excellence further underline your contribution and Barnet Football Club's contribution to the Borough of Harrow?
Yeah, I mean, we've been frustrated a little bit recently with some of the issues we've had, but you know, it's as with any site, if you grow the participation, if you grow the community use, you know, with that comes some local disruption, and we know we have to work with the authority to deal with that. But this will, you know, this for me will provide yet another service for the community. I mean, when I arrived on this site, Paul was talking about mud and hobnail boots. When I first came to this site, there was burnt out cars and lots of stuff going on this site that was totally unacceptable in a residential area. And we've turned that into a fantastic facility that all the kids visit. You know, if the only benefit we provided actually for the community was the shortcut from Camrose Avenue to Whitchurch Lane, even that's a benefit we get thanked for regularly. So, you know, the fact is we've created a wonderful facility and we've made it available to everybody. And if you take our, you know, we've got two full-size 3G, 4G pitches out there, and our charges for those are 25 to 30% less than your normal commercial centre, football centre. And, you know, and you see all the kids, they are booked out solid, you know, all the time, and all the kids are making use of it. And it's just incredible opportunity for everybody to participate here. And, you know, we do it with a bit of style, we do it with a lot of excellence, and everything we create is done to a very high standard. And this facility will be staffed, run and operated to a very high standard. And as you can already see from today, with the best equipment. So, you know, we don't cut corners, we do it properly. And we're proud. We're very proud of what we've done here and what we've made available to the community of Harrow. And what's wonderful is that so many of them come and thank us.
So with the increased medical facilities, are there any plans to expand the Hive?
What plans next? Sport. It's all about sport here. So obviously medicine goes hand in hand with sport. It's sports science. We have a growing sports science department. Manolis gets quite involved with that. And we are looking all the time to see how we can expand the sporting element of the site. So hopefully we're going to have some more announcements soon with regards to that.
Paul, you've been here forever and a day. You've seen it all. Did you ever think that you'd hear the words Barnet and Medical Centre of Excellence in the same sentence?
No, of course not. As I said earlier on, you know, I mean, it's happening at all football clubs. I mean, it's interesting the question that you asked before about, you know, and that Edgar quite rightly answered about should it be left to the medical treatment, you know, the specialists when a player gets injured. It's going on all over the country. Managers are bullying physios to keep players on the pitch, you know. But now we've got this facility, and where it's come from when I was, you know, in charge of the team. It's just, I mean, you know, the facilities here are for any manager are fantastic.
Well, the first time actually, 20 years ago when I came here, when Paul first asked for some new medical stuff, I bought him a new bucket and sponge.
In the pound shop.
So it has moved on a bit.
And on that note, is that the last question? Okay. Well,
Super.
concludes the
Thank
press
you all for
conference.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.